Okay, we're back with the second installment on compression breathing, the 3 stages of compression. Who can tell me right now what was the first stage of compression for a brass plane? Anybody remember? Did you watch the first installment, or are you just catching this one? If you didn't watch the first installment, I'll try to remember to put a link to the first installment, which is diaphragmatic breathing. So I'm not going to go through all that because I already did. So there might be a link down in the description, and you could probably click on that first and watch that and see how this all works. So diaphragmatic breathing, creating that pressure down in your lungs and your tummy and your diaphragm area. Now we're coming to the second stage of compression, and this is the second installment. I'm Kurt Thompson. So you saw me holding up 2 cylindrical objects. One, I guess you figured out it's a straw. This is an empty empty toilet roll holder, about the same size as a paper towel holder anyway. And so what does this have to do with today's lesson? I'm always coming up with some good ways to teach, aren't I? But it's important. Stuff like this helps people get it. So, second stage of compression is about, there is a bottleneck. Despite what any orchestral player tells you about open up your throat, open up your, the cavity in your mouth, open everything up, keep it open, don't pinch. There is a bottleneck that happens at the throat. If there wasn't a bottleneck, and if we had an opening here on the top of our head and went straight out, then that would be completely 100% free, open airflow, right? The nature of it coming out here and making like an upside down L and coming out this way automatically means it's not going to be 100% free air flowing. Just not going to be. There is going to be a bottleneck there at the throat regardless. And that's if you have your tongue dropped into an ah position. Ah, or low C positioning for trumpet folks, I'm just using trumpet for example, is a no compression tongue position. Ah. You're not going to get much compression from the second stage. You can still get it from the first stage. You can still get it from the third stage, which we haven't talked about yet. But as far as the second stage, you're only going to get a natural organic compression simply because of the bottleneck. The bottleneck of the throat. It's not, keep in mind, the air is not coming all the way out to the top of our head. If it came out here, complete unrestricted airflow. But anytime you take something, a hose or something like this, and you bend it, that automatically pinches things off to some degree, automatically puts a squeeze on it, automatically makes a bottleneck. So just the nature of our human body, up here and out here, we already have a natural bottleneck, and it happens right here at the tongue arch in the throat. A lot of people think their tongue is just here in your mouth. Your tongue actually goes all the way down here. It actually goes a lot further than you think. And so when you raise your tongue up into an E position, it's starting here and creating that more of a bottleneck at your throat all the way to the roof of your mouth right behind your teeth. So this is the second stage of compression, tongue arch. In fact, I've done a couple of really in-depth video tutorials, so I don't feel the need to actually do a duplicate or be redundant in this particular installment. No need to. So you can either search tongue arch in the normal Google search, normal YouTube search. You can put tongue arch Kurt Thompson, or if you're on my channel and you're able to search my channel, then you can just put tongue arch, and you're going to come up with several videos where I really explain and get in real nitty-gritty, almost disgusting detail about the tongue arch. So tongue arch and the bottleneck here at the throat is the second stage of compression. It's where if you had a garden hose and you took a garden hose and you had a certain amount of water flow and you took it and you bent it, you would hear that noise that it makes, but you would also know that the water is going to spray out faster. Or if you put your thumb over the end of a hose and covered almost all of it up, it would get harder to do because the water is going to spray out like a jet. So anyway, to illustrate a point, for people who don't have the tongue arch down, don't have it mastered, or in my experience, it seems like a lot of people think they actually have it, but they don't. You end up using a no compression second stage technique, and it doesn't really work out too well with the other stages. So no compression would be like this. I'm going to take some paper, just a little bit. Let me get a little spit wad. Okay, just a little bit. Now I'm going to wad it up. Of course, it's a spitball, so I got to put it in my mouth. I'm going to put it here in the paper towel holder, right kind of at the beginning. I'm going to take a big breath and blow. Okay, it actually came out a little bit, right? It came out with a certain velocity. Now, in fact, it actually went about 2 feet on the carpet. So now, I'm going to also do another spitball. Put it. And put it in the straw. Now, folks, what do you think is going to happen here? You saw it's in the straw. What do you think is going to happen with this when I blow it? I'm going to blow, actually I'm going to blow as much air as I can, but it will be quite a lot less air than I was blowing through this guy. Bam! Did you hear that? That thing hit my stand and bounced back within a half a second. Here it is on the floor. I mean, let me do that again. I mean, it was like almost like a bullet. Watch. I'll do it right at the camera. You see that? The speed had to be, I'm going to say 20 times or more than the speed that I got from this. It's quite incredible. Here it is again. I'll do it one more time. I'm just having fun. But now I'm blowing some fast air because of this restricted space. I'm also blowing a lot less air. You know, so when you hear band directors and other people, especially non-brass players, but it could be any band director who's a generalist, or it could be your typical classical PhD, DMA, university professor, and they say, more air, don't pinch, open up your throat. That's fine when you're playing low Cs and when you're playing middle Cs, not when you're playing double Gs. Here's your double G and double C. I bet it went so fast you couldn't see it. It hit the camera, and you might can slow this down. It hit the camera and then came back. I mean, it's just amazingly fast. Now, what does it have to do with brass playing? This is where most people screw up the second stage. They keep their jaw dropped down low. Like you got an egg in your mouth. You're playing like that. I've seen people play like that and they pooch out their lips. You really think you're going to vibrate these lips fast after you make them thick and pouting? No, ma'am, you are not. This is the uncompressed zone of stage 2. The lower jaw is dropped down low, tongue is flat. This is exactly what your band director, exactly what your university professor is wanting you to do when they say, don't pinch off the air, don't pinch off your throat. Keep an open sound, keep the air moving, airflow, all this kind of stuff, right? That is actually what they want you to do, and they are actually correct when you are playing in the staff and below. What most of these people fail to delineate for you, because they can't really do it themselves, is when you get into upper register. Upper register, let's remind you what that is. Anybody know? Oh, no, that's not it. You know, a high G right above the staff is not upper register. That's upper middle register. Double C? Nope, that's actually extreme upper register. Upper register is high C, high D, high E, high F, double G. That's the tessitura of the upper register for a trumpet, and you can transpose that to your particular brass instrument. So these people that have all the advanced degrees and are connected and able to get into the universities, and you've heard them play, right? Well, anyway, these people are regurgitating what their DMA told them when they were getting their degrees. It's just a regurgitation of generation after generation after generation. What they're saying works fine when you're playing below the staff. So if you got a concert tomorrow and you're playing Come to Jesus in whole notes, and your highest note is the second line G in the staff, yes, they are correct. Don't pinch off your throat. Open position, no compression. If you're playing in the 1 o'clock lab band at North Texas State University, or UNT as they call it now, and you're starting off on started off on Birdland. What the first three notes would be high B, high D, double G, right? I'm swearing, ladies, if you try to keep your throat open, your jaw drop down low, your tongue drop down low, you are going to crash and burn. And if you have the chops to actually get those notes, it's going to suck horribly. It's going to be bad. You might not even make it through the end of that tune because you're going to be burning up your chops. This is really important. It's really probably, if not the most important stage of compression, it's right up there. Because even if you had one lung and couldn't perfectly execute the first stage of compression, but you had this, you're still going to be doing okay. So anyway, you saw for yourself, you witnessed it. A wide open cylindrical, which is keeping your throat open. Hey, don't pinch off the air. Jimmy, use more air. More air, bigger sound, Jimmy. Well, if that professor is talking to Jimmy, who happens to be playing high A's up to high C's, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's less air, Jimmy, and more faster compression, Jimmy, when you're playing up to around high C and higher. That would be the correct thing to tell that student or that particular player. So you just watched the second stage of compressed air compression as it relates to brass instruments. And you saw it in action, folks. Saw it in action. This is when you're using the tongue arch. And this is when you got the low C, no compression position. You can think of this as like when you're fogging up a mirror or a glass in your car. You know how kids do. That's low C. That's no compression. That's your throat and mouth all the way as open as it can be. The most quantity of air comes out. It's warm air and it's slow moving air. Great for lower register work and maybe middle register work, but definitely not when you start to climb out of the staff and get into the upper register. I'm Kurt Thompson, and as I always like to say, my story, and I'm sticking to it. Hi, I'm Kurt Thompson, and welcome to my channel. That's youtube.com/yourbrassinstructor. Thanks for just watching the video that you did. Maybe it's the first one that you've watched, or maybe you've watched tons of my videos. In fact, as of June 2016, as a brass player and trumpet player, I have the most tutorials free on the planet. I have over 600 videos on my YouTube channel currently, all free. So again, thanks again for watching this video. I hope that you got something out of it. Sometimes I make a video just to make you laugh. A lot of times I make a video to educate you on something and maybe even help solve a problem. So I hope something like that occurred for you in this video. And while you're at it, again, subscribe, click on my website link, and go on to the next video. It's lovely out here. Have a great day.